It's okay. She's not ready for like.
All cast, really? Really wants but you don't just get to go over here and have a break out what that is. So that was the only one. Right here, that's good audio. As long as but we only got one running right now, and that's why otherwise, if we had two like that, then there'd be a lot of people on the top. It'd be too much. We're ready. I don't know if you're right now.
I think we're ready too.
Yeah. Ready and following.
Okay, so everybody is in more or less. Once again, thank you all for being here. So for now, I would like to have a more general discussion about what you thought of this clinic. There is also an evaluation form in the folder you got. Please fill it in and let us know. We would be happy if we can make any improvements. We can improve. So, also if you have general remarks about the clinic, first of all about the organization, I would like to know whether, do you think it's really important that all patients come together, or do you think it might also be good that you could come separately, or that we have a combination of both, that you can choose whether you come as a group or perhaps individually?
You want to know now or in the evaluation?
You can put it in the evaluation if you want to keep it for yourself, but you could also discuss about it, because there might be some arguments that others might not have thought about it.
I think it's a good thing, because especially if you're a parent with a young child and you see someone like Tyrese's age, and then you can say, okay, my child is going to grow up. Like Tyrese, so it's good for us to visualize through that. And it's good for us to make contact and have friends in the future in case you want to, share information with. I prefer that.
I like both.
Yeah.
You like both?
Yeah, it doesn't matter if it's done.
Okay.
Yeah, I like to make contact with families. It's really extraordinary to see people with a child that has the same thing as your child. I think it's more cozy when we meet with each other, but I also like to know have the examinations rather fast, and maybe a day for spending together.
Okay.
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, because that would be also a possibility that we do the clinical examination separately, but then once every 2 or 3 years we would come together as a group, tell about research that has been done, novel findings, and just interaction between you all. because also from an organizational point of view, it's tremendous work. Not only about logistics, but especially about organizing the clinics itself. So we need to block agendas of several physicians months on beforehand, and we only will know a few weeks on beforehand whether it will be filled up or not. So that is also for the hospital direction, they don't like us doing so much research during clinic hours.
Yeah.
It's just understandable from an economic point of view.
Yeah, and when you go to different parts of the clinic, we didn't mix up, so we only saw Tanya and Therese, and sometimes Michelle, Andrew, and Hamish. I'd like to connect during the time with the other people.
Yeah.
And then, but it mixed up, so we didn't see the people from Leeds. I'd like to talk with them, but it didn't came. So, yeah, when you have a day with all the people, maybe you can discuss it like that.
In the States, after usually we have we had the clinic, or we had the conference on Sunday, and then Sunday evening, well, people started coming in on Saturday, so they had that time.
Mm-hmm.
And then Sunday we did the conference, and then Sunday evening we had some sort of entertainment. Like this time, someone donated a photo booth and a DJ, and so I don't know that we could always afford to do stuff like that, but it was really fun. Just so the kids could interact with each other and play, and the parents could chat, and while the kids just were kids, and it's really amazing to get to watch all the children interacting together.
Yeah, but beforehand, you don't know each other. Now what we do, but beforehand, so you be a bit careful, and during the days when you meet, it gets better. In the first morning, hello, and the second morning you go talk with each other. It's easier to mingle when you know each other better, I think.
So is it more supportive to have everybody together while you're doing clinic because you know that everybody else is going through the same thing?
Yeah, but it's better, but it depends on the time as well.
Yeah.
For us as a family,
It's
very
difficult.
hard, very difficult.
Mm-hmm.
And to get them ready to come, and you notice that always you are a bit late. But it is a good idea to get together, at least by not waiting time, can have a chat and talk.
Yeah.
Well, and I would need to talk to Bert about this, but something that I've been considering is, you know, if we have like clinic over there, there's been some families that have participated every year,
Yeah.
and then there's some families that will participate one year or the other. And maybe if you participated in the clinic and you're giving your information to Bert and there's no reason for you to necessarily see him right then,
Yeah.
maybe you just come and participate as a family in the entertainment, and then that way not everyone is having to be seen all the time, every time you come, and it'd be a real burden. What do you think about that?
That's also possible. We have
The internet you can.
several possibilities, but one of my worries is that it will be difficult to have it every year again because of just
Very
hospital
hard.
regulations.
It's not easy. And
That's
very
quite
hard. You
difficult.
have to put
So
it
that's,
together.
and it would be from a hospital point of view, it would be easier if just one family came.
So
had
what
all
you
the
are basically you
communities,
call the
the
family
other-
and they come at a certain time, and this is what you want to
Yeah.
do with it.
So we can put all examinations just in one day for one family. And then we could have every year or every 2 years, and that can be even out of the hospital, have some just patient gathering, family gathering, and
Yeah,
have
that
some
is
social
socialize.
activities.
But what about if we send you all the information, whatever, any test we do back home, and
It's also good.
is also still you need us to come again, or it will
I
be
think the
enough?
most important is that somehow we can centralize all data,
Right.
and I think that scans and leads will be as good as those taken in Ghent, so there's no need for doing all your scans over
Yeah,
here.
right.
So it's better that you also have your own physicians that are still acquainted with your file, so in case of any emergencies, that they also know what the status is of the child. And you can send them over, that's also good. And then from time to time, we would like to have a clinical examination and see our children grow and see how it evolves and see the natural history.
Well, and in clinic, you know, because it's rare, where to look. And our physicians know, but not specific. In the Netherlands, I always think they do something.
Mhm.
And here, I think you know where to put your eye on. Yeah, I think that's a bit better. Yeah.
What I suggest is like every 6 months or 1 year, we send like a questionnaire and about the thing that we can, if you wanted some like test or result. I don't think so the physician or the GP, he will mind if the information will be simple for the decision.
Well, and one good thing about sending your medical records to Bert, we can also use those in the registry if you signed up. So it'll have a dual purpose that he could use it in the clinic and then we can use it for the other project too. And if you request your records, now, I don't know what it's like here, but if I was to request records in the state, I would be charged per page for your records, and sometimes you might have hundreds of
We are free
pages.
there.
So, so if you
It
can
would be
request
free
them
and
and
happy
send them.
really when you tell them, I mean, when we told the consultant we come in here she gave us all the file with the CD and she's looking forward with the feedback. She should say, when you come back, just let us know.
But that
So
wasn't,
really.
Mazen, that wasn't the full medical record, that was only her correspondence.
Well, I mean, the
to
report
us.
which is about the symptoms about.
So from one angle only, so we have to talk with every consultant to get his records sent up.
But for the registry, we'd really like to have stuff from your pediatrician, your ophthalmologist, your dentist, or anyone that would send records. And sometimes the bad part about requesting them from your physician, us doing it, is it gets lost in translation or just they get busy and it doesn't happen. But if you're physically asking yourself and getting them and delivering them to us, we at least know we're getting them.
I think in our hospital you can always ask that you always get a copy of the consultation letter at home. So you might try and ask that in your hospital and your physicians as well. So you get copies of everything and then you can just hand them over to us and we have also like the easiest.
I mean, for me, I think it's better to have our own clinic time because of the school. So at least we can decide what time that suits all our children to come. But I still want that time to the rest of the families as well.
And we can try it a different way next time, and then if that doesn't really work out, then we can try something different. Because I've learned that if we try and mimic other groups, it really doesn't work out because it's not our group, and our group is pretty, it's different.
I think we also covered already some parts of the second item, so future expectations. So, how would you like to see your care for your children organized? I think you already said that the main problem is especially when you go to adulthood, that then you're missing that central coordinating physician that takes care of your child.
Yeah.
We know that it is a problem. Every hospital faces it. We have this transition clinic, but then they only have a few years to take their health and to take their own responsibility in their health care. And sometimes they're not used to that.
The question I have is, okay, Tyrese is at Boston Children's Hospital, they're still gonna hold his records there and all his doctors for maybe another year or two. But as he gets older, like 20, how often will you be doing how often should he be going out there? Like, we go twice a year, every 6 months. There's some clinics he does yearly, there's some he does twice a year. So as you get older, like, I just need to know, are we gonna go once a year or still twice a year to monitor? That's what I'm looking to.
For now, we monitor every year from his age up. So it echoes, and then every 3 years MRI. That's what we would advise at this point. But also one of the concerns is perhaps arrhythmias that we see in adults, so that's also something we want to monitor, but usually that comes arrhythmias.
Yes.
But that is of course something that is usually clear when you have arrhythmias, you will seek advice. So that's also one part is healthcare, but another part is also daily life, daily living with ATS, performance at school, which is usually very good from mental point of view, but like for motor coordination and so on, some patients may have issues. Do you feel that there is enough support in your country, or are there things that we need to try and address? Kind of difficult, of course. It's
So
Maybe we have to do more of our own. Yeah.
Well, one thing Tyrese said is that when they see him, he looks okay.
Yeah.
So they triage a child that has may not be able to walk properly, you can see it, but then you see Tyrese is walking, so they kind of triage who they see. Like when he had physiotherapy coming to school or occupational therapy, he'll start off every 2 weeks, and then next thing you know, it's once a month. And then they miss it, you know, because they see he's okay, but his core is still very weak. And I think getting taller, it's not, you know, it's weak.
It's not helping.
Right, and it's obvious when you scream upstairs, and she's never seen Tyrese before, and she's noticing things the first time, you know. So at home, no, we don't have enough support, you know.
Because of course every country has its own system to take care of that, but the only way we can try to change it is by reporting it in literature that it is an associated problem. So that's also important why we need a registry. The registry also asks about these questions and about daily living and school performance and how many days you miss at school, how many days you miss at work, if you can work full time or not, all those kind of things. And only on reporting that will actually make healthcare know about these issues.
And this registry, maybe you can make a summary for us to hand over to our physicians.
Well, that's why, at first it was just the clinical information, but I really wanted to know how many other kids are having trouble with handwriting like Aiden, because eventually he's getting in trouble at school for his writing, and that's not fair. But if it's just Aiden, me knowing that it's Aiden, we can't do anything, but as an organization, I can create forms and educational materials for you to take to your teachers to inform them that it is an issue and ask for assistive technology.
We always, when Vincent was in high school, I think it's called, I didn't want him to carry the heavy bags with the books. I went to school and I spoke about it, and they got him an extra set of books in his locker, so he didn't have to take it with him all the time.
And I've had to be an advocate for him as well, like for certain things, like he may not be able to sit in the class all day without falling asleep. Or, so they would let him go into the, what was it, what class did he have? With Miss Toa, what is it? Learning support. So he said learning support from middle school up, you know, that, so that they don't have those expectations. But still, a lot of teachers didn't know why.
Well, and
That's okay.
that brings up another good point about, advocating for your children. I think we're all doing a good job because we're here, but we can be more proactive with our kids at school, and, it's all about finding the right people to talk to, the school counselors or the nurses or even the principals of the school. And, so how to make a plan with them.
Other teachers as well. The director knows, and then the mentor knows. And he goes to gymnastics. You have to do it again. That's always, we discussed about it. Every time you meet someone new, you have to tell it again. But as boys, no, they want to be normal.
Yeah.
Because they won't go to every time you go to the teacher. You have to make sure it's severe enough that the school tells everyone about it. Let not the child do it, no, let the school take care of that problem.
Well, and another, I don't know if you guys do this or not, but we have an individualized education plan in the States, and well, you can create that plan with your school anyway, whether you have that system in place or not. I don't know how well it would work, you just have to keep in touch with them. But you can, like, we send a letter from our cardiologist to say what they would like for Aiden to be able to do, because what if your kid doesn't feel like participating in all the PE or whatever, they don't feel like participating in a certain class, or they need time away 30 minutes in the office to lay down and rest during the middle of the day or something. You can make those agreements and have your physicians write letters and request that. And a lot of times the schools take heed to that a lot more than us just trying to go in there as parents and ask for it.
But not all the physicians support that stuff. That's also a problem. Yeah, and that's what Tanya said. If they look at him, he's okay, he says he's okay, and then. So they don't write a letter for maybe what's gonna happen. And if Vincent isn't feeling very well, he goes home, and then he gets registered as being absent. Yeah.
Well, maybe Bert and I come up with some sort of letter that has check boxes of the different things that kids could have issues with, and then you could fill in your name, and then maybe Bert would sign it or something, or somebody could, and that might help.
Yeah, it's important enough to tell all people, but not for the children, not important enough to tell everyone. For us, it's important to tell, but the children, they want to have a normal life.
Actually made a folder a few years ago with the do's and don'ts in ATS, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
You still have, where you could make that not very medicalized, but also for activities of daily living, and maybe they can just give that to the school, like a teacher or what we call some people, I'm not sure what that's. So if we have a budget manager, what that would be, like one central person in school who takes care of kids with whatever issues.
Yeah.
Might help, because then you don't have to tell it over and over again, and it would be.
And for the young children, it's also important. Yeah.
So we could put that, we are also working on a website, so we might put that on our educational materials on our website.
Yeah.
That's still a progress.
Yeah, funding's an issue, so I can use the program that I have, but it just will be more creative. And I'm working on, actually, the thing that he's talking about, I was working on that last week before I came.
Yeah.
But there's some groups that I've seen that have little flip cards. It's like a business card, but it's flipped over, and you can have those do's and don'ts on that. And so the kids could carry that in their backpack, and so they can discreetly give it to whatever teacher.
Yeah.
But then it's up to the child's responsibility to say, hey,
Yeah.
pull the teacher aside.
Yeah, okay, but when they're 16, okay.
Yeah.
But when they're 12,
Well, I mean,
and they face this
Yeah.
problem.
I guess I'm really fortunate where we are because we have such a great school that works with the kids like that, but I know that's not the case everywhere, and I don't know how we fix that.
But you can think about
Yeah.
getting a letter for school and then tell the moms and dads to make sure everything what's in it is treated like it's written. Maybe.
What do you guys think? What is your school system like? Are they, I know he's not in school yet, but
The school that, the primary school that I work in is very good with disabled kids. They have a few, but they're properly disabled. So I think when the time comes, if Yahya goes to the same school, I think we'll not have a problem with that. If we can explain to them what he can do, what he can't do.
But when he grows his own opinion,
Now, go to high school, that's when they start growing and it becomes hard, because they want to be normal, they want to be viewed by their peers as
yeah,
being normal.
you're 16?
He's 16.
Yeah.
And there's
Do you like your friends to know
That's something wrong.
if you got something? No.
Oh, no.
No. Okay, you
Yeah,
don't
I've
know.
never experienced it, so.
Probably not.
No,
yeah.
probably not. No.
But like for Tyrese, to raise money to come here, we had the option to go on the radio and talk about it. So I had to ask him first, because usually he wouldn't tell his friends. A lot of his friends know that something's going on, but he wouldn't, they just don't sit down and talk about it. Hey, look at it. They don't do that, but he said, let's go on the radio, if it's gonna get us over here, let's do it. So, as long as I did all the talking. He said, yeah.